What if I told you the greatest battle you will ever face in your whole entire life isn't between good and evil? It's actually between free will and choices. Don't believe me? Let me cook. Most people think that free will and choices are the same thing. They're not, okay? Choice is what you do. Free will is the state of being that you do it from, okay? You were born with free will. Free will is a part of the highest consciousness that you were born with. That is your birthright, okay? This is why you hear people say, I have free will, I can do whatever I want. But what they don't realize, okay, is that every choice presented to them is going to be consistent with the entity that they have created. Remember, I told you that your identity is an entity, and that entity is built on what? Agreements, right? So if your agreements, okay, sound something like, I'm not enough, the choices that you're going to have available to you are, I'm going to doom scroll, I'm going to sabotage the relationship, I'm going to go out with my friends instead of doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to lay down in bed all day and binge watch Netflix, all right? Now, the entity doesn't have a problem with you having choices. You can have all the choices that you want, as long as it is consistent with the agreements that you have made. You can have all the choices. Choices will always be available to you, as long as you are operating from those agreements. Now, watch this. The minute you decide that you are going to violate an agreement, the entity says, wait a friggin' minute. What is going on here? So you get up, you start making calls, you start reading your Bible, you start going to the gym, you're eating better, all of these things. It sends off this signal in that, guess what? Free will has entered the chat. All right. Free will says, hey, entity, I see the options that you have available for me, but I reject them. And the entity doesn't like that, because the entity has one job. What is the one job of the entity? I said it in the other video. It's to be consistent with the agreements that it's been fed for so long. Now watch this. Every time you try to change your life, I don't know, it's not just me alone, because I hear people talk about it all the time. There is a mental battle that goes on. And this battle shows up as confusion. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to somebody. If you feel confused, you're trying to make the changes and you started and you stop and you start and you stop. You just feel confused in your mind. That is the battle of the higher self and the entity and choices that it has available to you. The entity is very strategic. I want you to know this. The entity probably knows you better than you know yourself. That's a fact. You've been practicing it forever. If you are 25, if you are 36, if you are 38, if you are 40, if you are 50, the entity has been watching you. It has been studying you. So what does it do? Okay. You start getting up out of the bed in the morning. You're doing all the things. You're choosing not to be depressed anymore and all of those things. The entity brings up doubt. It brings up fear. It brings up anxiety. This is why every time you start to change, you feel these things. Okay? Now watch what happens. If that doesn't work, it draws for memories. This is why a lot of times you'll remember the things that somebody said to you. Say, for instance, you want to start a business. You'll remember, oh, but somebody said that, the market is oversaturated. And, remember a few years ago you launched that business and you only made $90. What makes you think this will work? That is not you speaking. That is the agreements exposing itself. That is you showing that you have tapped into your highest state of consciousness. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking. You're almost there. You are breaking the entity. It has cracked open and it is, all right. If somebody is struggling to stay alive, if you push somebody's head down underwater, what's going to happen? They're going to flail and they're going to, like a fish, they're going to start fighting because what? The entity wants to survive. Okay. Every time you go against your free will in the highest state of consciousness, you are giving up the power, the most powerful thing that you were born with, free will. There is a quote that says, and the truth shall set you free. It's actually a Bible verse. It's in John, right? And the truth shall set you free. To get to the truth, you must first expose the lies. And that is how you experience free will. The prison was never a lack of choices. It was believing that the options presented to you were the only ones available. Catch you in the next video.